Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Spencer Ferreira.
And I'm Eliza Kosten.
President Biden issued a presidential pardon to his son, Hunter Biden. Hunter was found guilty of 3 charges for lying about his drug use when buying a handgun. He also pleaded guilty in a federal tax case. The 9 charges in that case included failure to file and pay his taxes, tax evasion, and filing a false return. President Biden acknowledged a previous statement he made saying he wouldn't interfere in the decision-making of the Justice Department. However, President Biden says his son was prosecuted unfairly, saying that others who face similar charges are typically given non-criminal resolutions.
President Biden is fulfilling a promise to visit Africa. He is visiting the country of Angola with the goal of countering China's influence by highlighting a U.S.-backed railway project. The project aims to advance U.S. presence in a region which is filled with minerals that are used in electric vehicles. President Biden will be back from the 3-day trip later this week.
Canada's ambassador to the U.S. says that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had a successful meeting with President-elect Donald Trump about tariffs. Trump has said that he will enact tariffs on all imports from Mexico and Canada with an additional tariff for China. The new tariffs could significantly increase consumer prices. It is being recommended to purchase kitchen appliances, electronics, and smartphones before prices go up.
The Israeli military announced the death of an American-Israeli citizen. Omer Maxim Nutra was thought to be alive and held hostage in Gaza. He was sadly killed in a Hamas-led attack on October 7th. Nutra was 21 years old and served as a tank platoon commander for the IDF.
Syrian and Russian forces are increasing the strikes against Syrian rebels after they took over the city of Aleppo. The opposing forces killed dozens of government officials to take over the city. This is the first time Syrian rebels have stepped foot in the city since the civil war in 2016. Syrian army airstrikes have killed at least 13 people.
An update on the Maui woman who went missing near LAX. Investigators searching for Hana Kobayashi have determined she intentionally missed a connecting flight in Los Angeles. Kobayashi flew into LAX from Hawaii on November 8th when she was supposed to catch a connecting flight to New York, but never got on that flight and lost all contact with her family within days. The woman's sister and mother questioned why they weren't briefed to this new development and posted on social media writing that they don't believe Hannah intentionally missed her flight. They are hopeful that the LAPD is doing everything in their power to find her.
3 teens were killed and 1 was seriously injured after a Tesla Cybertruck crashed and caught fire in Northern California. There is no indication of whether there were mechanical issues as the primary cause for the collision amid the recent Cybertruck recalls. Police have said that speed was a factor in the crash and have not yet ruled out that drugs or alcohol were involved.
Every year, a strike is held on Rodeo Drive. Our Eliza Portillo has more on how activists and supporters came together to support the banning of selling animal fur in the fashion industry.
Animal rights activists took to the streets of Beverly Hills to protest the sale of fur worldwide.
Fur is a thing of the past, and we're trying to get people to realize that it's very cruel and they need more compassion, and it's outdated. It's the year 2024. We got all kinds of materials. We don't need to use the skin of tortured innocent animals.
The annual Fur Friday protest is organized by Last Chance for Animals, or the LCA organization, a Los Angeles-based nonprofit dedicated to eliminating animal exploitation. The protest speaks out against the luxury brands that sell fur. The first protest was held in 1986 in Los Angeles on what is known to be the busiest shopping day of the year, Black Friday. Protesters carried posters, banners, and wore custom-made t-shirts as they marched down the world-famous Rodeo Drive and stood outside stores including Dior and Louis Vuitton. California became the first U.S. state to ban fur in January of 2023, but despite the passing of the law, fur fashion continues to be sold.
Finally, we've chased the fur out of the major retailers here. The problem is other states sell it. They sell to people online, so it's still going on, it's still being sold.
LCA and other dedicated animal rights groups want people to know about the endless suffering behind fur fashion and help advocate for those animals.
It's very possible, and that's the biggest way that you can improve, that you can reduce your negative impact on the world, is to stop paying for the abuse of animals through your consumption choices.
And even though the protest happens only once a year, animal rights activists will continue to raise awareness about the banning of selling fur products. In Beverly Hills, I'm Eliza Portillo, Valley View News.
Eliza, thank you. Hundreds of hospitality workers at a Las Vegas hotel and casino have gone on strike. The workers are members of the Culinary Workers Union as well as an affiliated bartenders union. The union workers hope this strike will pressure Virgin Hotels in Las Vegas to agree to a new 5-year contract with higher pay. Virgin has confirmed it has relied on temporary workers to keep operations running during the strike.
The CSUN American Indian Studies Department hosted its 39th annual powwow. Our Jess Brumana says over 8,000 people came to dance, shop, and play.
To top off Native American Heritage Month, people from all over North and South America came to represent their tribes at the CSUN powwow. The festivities lasted throughout the day, all the way into the evening. For the American Indian Studies Department, this event marks the culmination of lots of hard work.
One of the things I think is really important for us to remember is that CSUN sits on, Tataviam land. And so, it's really important for us every single day to honor that and to acknowledge that. And this really is a coming together of students, faculty, community, elders, children, families, and it's really meant as a spiritual ceremonial gathering.
As Native folks, we don't always get to talk about history that we care about or history that's deep to us. So it's really nice just being around people who are like-minded, they understand you, and there's no it's just not too much Americanness, if that makes sense.
Attendees can try delicious fry bread, shop from local artisans, and get connected to local organizations. If dancing isn't your thing, you can try Mesoamerican hip ball.
I always joke with people, once you play the sport, that blood comes out, your native blood comes out. Ball is made of pure rubber. You only hit it with your hip. The one that we do is solely on one side of the hip.
Oh, I felt that in my other hip.
You basically just hit it back and forth to each other. There's no passing back and forth between team members. It's kind of like tennis. So you go back and forth.
People from all generations and all backgrounds were able to come together to learn about and cherish Native American culture. From Northridge, I'm Jess Brumana, Valley View News.
Jess, thank you. More to come on Valley View News. Do you want to plan an upcoming holiday trip? We'll tell you about how you will be able to save money.
And there's been a lot of commotion at the movie theater these past couple of weeks. Which movies are stealing the hearts of viewers? Find out when we come back.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
Travel Tuesday is this week, and many airlines are offering travel deals for you to take advantage of. There will not only be deals from many airlines like United Airlines, Delta, and American Airlines, but also discounts from hotels and related travel deals. Some deals include American Airlines having flights to Europe starting at $599 round trip and domestic flights for less than $100. Many deals started on Black Friday and will continue on through Travel Tuesday. Many people will continue to travel throughout the entire holiday season. The TSA has announced that December 1st is now the busiest travel day of the year. Following the Thanksgiving holiday, December 1st saw more than 3 million people being screened through airports. Airlines believe that these heavy travel trends will continue into next year.
First Lady Jill Biden has unveiled her White House Christmas decorations centered around the theme of a season of peace and light. The entire display features 83 Christmas trees and over 165,000 holiday lights. The White House is expecting over 100,000 visitors this month. The President and First Lady made a statement for the holiday season saying, quote, "It has been the honor of our lives to serve as your President and First Lady. Our hope is for the nation to be blessed with the peace and light of the holiday season." End of quote.
Santa Claus landed without his trusty reindeer. Charlie Gonzalez has more on Santa's visit to Ventura County.
Santa Claus will soon be landing here at Jan's Marketplace in Thousand Oaks, but he's not using his typical mode of transportation.
A makeshift runway is blocked off for Santa to land after parachuting out the back of a plane.
So what we had to worry about is, of course, the tenants that we have here that are off the grid for the events, such as, the ones that people usually go to with the drive-through. So we had to go and plan accordingly with, what people are usually routed to come in, used to coming into the mall with, and being able to go ahead and kind of divert it around that way to where they're still accessible, but then they can still have a safe way to be able to get into the property.
Security personnel line the perimeter, as well as other agencies to intervene in the event of wind blowing Santa's parachute off course.
That's something that the other team that took care of that whole service took care of, and we were also prepared as a backup plan to be able to go ahead and prepare for something like that too. So we had a little bit of extra space, and we were able to coordinate properly with the right group.
Security is here not just to ensure the safety of Santa Claus, but also the families that come to see him, as this is an annual tradition at Jan's Marketplace.
On a cloudy day with no sun blinding the view, spectators could spot Santa easily, following his descent without looking away.
Actually, I think this is the third time we've been here to watch him parachute.
Each kid in attendance made sure to have their wish list ready. One boy even memorized his.
I have a Nintendo Switch and a lot of Hot Wheels City stuff, and I got the Despicable Me Fart Blaster.
After landing, Santa Claus sat by a fountain where a line of kids waited to give him their Christmas wish list. From Jan's Marketplace in Thousand Oaks, I'm Charlie Gonzalez.
Charlie, thank you. The holiday season is finally here, and many people are preparing to decorate for the holidays. Alexa Kosten has details on how the Home Depot's holiday decor sales are doing this year.
Thank you. I'm here at a Home Depot in the San Fernando Valley, and as the holiday season has finally begun, neighbors and customers are decking the halls and decorating their homes. Shoppers are gearing up to decorate their homes. But how are holiday decor sales actually doing? The Home Depot says this holiday season might not be so cheerful after all, as holiday decor sales are down and prices are going up.
Everything is more expensive, and our sales are really not great this year.
While the holiday decor sales are down this year, employees are still remaining optimistic, hoping that prices will stabilize and sales will bounce back next year.
For some reason, it's more expensive this year, but hopefully next year's gonna get better.
Well, the holiday season is definitely looking merry and bright. From the San Fernando Valley, I'm Alexa Kosten, Valley View News.
Alexa, thank you. In entertainment news, as the holiday season is in full swing, moviegoers are heading to the theaters to catch the latest blockbusters and indie gems gracing the silver screen. This month's box office lineup is packed, with a little something for everyone, from action-packed adventures to heartfelt dramas and family-friendly animation. Moana 2 cemented a new Thanksgiving box office record with $225 million over the 5-day holiday weekend. Wicked came in at the number 2 spot. In third place, Gladiator 2 earned $30.7 million. And in fourth place, the Christmas action movie Red 1 made $12.89 million.
Elton John says he is struggling to see after contracting an infection in recent months that has left him with limited vision in one eye. During the opening night of his musical, The Devil Wears Prada the musical, the legendary singer addressed the audience and revealed that he could not see the show due to his poor vision. He says he is taking the initiative to try and get better.
Justin Timberlake has canceled a show on his Forget Tomorrow world tour. The singer announced that he needed to cancel a show in Oklahoma City due to a back injury. His doctors have instructed him to rest. Timberlake also canceled 6 other shows back in October due to bronchitis and laryngitis. A scheduled date has not yet been announced.
Now that it's the holiday season, it's time to go snowboarding. Spencer Ferreira visited Mountain High to see how they are reopening after being affected by the bridge fire.
I'm at the top of Mountain High Ski Resort, where after just a few months ago, after being burned by the bridge fire, they are now open and ready to go and start snowboarding for the holiday season. Mountain High Ski Resort is now open for the winter season. They are operating by the use of their snowmakers, as natural snow has yet to hit the area. It's considered by many to be a blessing that the resort is open, given the bridge fire that damaged the resort. However, the damage wasn't as bad as many thought it would be.
Well, we lost a lift at the top of the East Resort. We didn't lose it completely. It'll run next year, but it does need some repairs, so that won't run this year. Besides that, we lost a couple of maintenance sheds and a patrol shack at the top of West, all which are being repaired right now. These aren't things that really the customer would ever see or notice.
It really was the best case scenario given how intense the fire was.
We had just seen it 2 hours earlier, and it was miles away, like as the bird flies, 10 miles away, but like 3 ridges over, and in 2 hours it had traveled right on top of us, and we literally had zero time.
They did their part to help fight the fire and preserve the resort as much as possible.
Once it crossed that road, we knew we have to try to get on as much snowmaking equipment as we could, all the water hydrants and everything, and we needed to get out of there because we didn't know, how much more it was going to burn. It moved so fast in the valleys.
With the resort being open, it's led to happy snowboarders who are looking forward to the season.
Just honestly getting back up to the mountain. We can only do it once a year, especially when they get all the jumps and stuff set up again after all the fires. It's going to be a good year.
Now, as of right now, only one ski lift is open, but that will change as soon as some natural snow comes from the sky. Reporting from Mountain High, I'm Spencer Ferreira, Valley View News.
Spencer, thank you. The snow looks just beautiful. How was it?
It was a great time. I can't wait for there to be a little bit more snow. It's really going to look like a Christmas movie, and it's that time of the year for me.
Yeah, definitely. I know we're not getting the snow quite yet over here. I know Jess Brumana has more.
That's right. We are expected to see some snow in Northern California because there's a very interesting weather pattern developing, La Nina. So let's talk a bit about that. La Nina is starting to take shape, and she's not expected to be very strong, at least, historically speaking. It's still early in development, so it's a bit difficult to say exactly how much it will affect the weather, but we can estimate general trends. Let's check it out. What happens during La Nina is the polar jet stream will push cold air south into the states. Up in the northwest, temperatures will likely drop. This whole area has about a 40% chance of being colder for the next 3 months, and even more so closer to the Canadian border. Because it's going to be colder in the north, it's going to be hotter in the south. This hot region is much more encompassing, affecting the southwest all the way into the Midwest and the Atlantic North. In the lightest orange area, it's a little less than 40% likely to increase the temperatures. For Southern California, that's mostly where we find ourselves. Central and Northern California are likely to have similar temperatures at this time as to when there is no La Nina. The pressure from the cold front will also affect the amount of rain generated in certain areas. Let's take a look at that. It's not one-to-one, but in general, likely colder regions are going to be more likely rainy, and likely warmer regions are going to be more likely dry. So the Pacific Northwest will likely see more rain, as well as the Midwest to a slightly lesser degree. Dryness should not creep up the Atlantic like the heat will, and it's likely to stay, in the southern states. In the LA region, we'll likely see the same amount of rain that we would when there is no La Nina. Only the most southern part of California will be drier than usual. In that light yellow strip, that'll be a little bit less than 40% usual levels of precipitation. With that context, let's take a look at the local forecast. In the San Fernando Valley, this weekend is going to be a little toasty at 80 degrees. During the week, it'll be a little warmer than it's been previously, bubbling into the low mid-70s. Lows will stay in the low 50s. Heading downtown, highs will be pretty similar to the valley, in the low mid-70s all week. You'll see here through the weekend, heat will be a little less intense. Lows will also be around the low 50s. At the beaches, it's going to be much cooler, staying in the high 60s. Saturday will only peak around 74 degrees. Lows will be similar to the other areas, staying in the low 50s. And last but not least, the Inland Empire is going to be much hotter. The weekend will float into the 80s. Weekend highs will stay in the mid-70s, and lows will dip down further than the other regions in the mid to high 40s. When we come back, college football regular season wraps up. Also, LA football is in the postseason race. Stay with us.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Welcome back. The annual LA Auto Show is back in town. Our Tony Santos has more on the hundreds of cars that are displayed for just 10 days.
I'm here at the LA Convention Center for the LA Auto Show, where car manufacturers from all around the world have gathered to be here in one place.
Honestly, it's just the mechanics. I mean, it's a V6, 565 horsepower, this model right here. Just like a beautiful car with a great engine, so just enjoying it.
There's nothing cooler than actually getting to drive the cars, and you can do that right here in Hyundai, including the Hyundai Ioniq 5S, which is driving by right here in baby blue, super famous for World Rally Championship racing. Volkswagen, Nissan, and even Jeep will offering that same experience.
We usually make it out here every year. Volkswagen Bus, the new one that just came out, the ID Buzz. Yeah, we just took a ride in it right now. It's pretty fast. It's all electric.
Another way to get behind the wheel was by a racing simulator that had a full motion platform, making for a very realistic and engaging experience. These small cars on your screen are what people on those machines were racing.
I love cars ever since I was little because I have a brother, we call him Motorhead. Always loved cars, always knew the makes and models, and I don't know, just being around him.
It almost felt like the LA Auto Show was a one-stop shop, as over 1,000 vehicles were on display across 1 million square feet.
So I work for Rivian Automotive on their seat design. So I just like seeing what's new and upcoming, and I've always been very interested in car design and interiors. So
for all our car enthusiasts who aren't really into newer cars, let alone electric vehicles, underneath the convention center was a section completely dedicated to retro cars, just like this Camaro that we have right here. From here in downtown LA, Tony Santos, Valley View News.
Tony, thank you. With the Thanksgiving holiday comes sports. Alexa, were sports part of your Thanksgiving holiday?
They really weren't. I just enjoyed the holidays, and you'd think during the holidays you'd get a little bit more of a break, but in the sports world, it just keeps on going. Did you catch any games?
Yeah, I watched the Thanksgiving games, and I feel like you would have loved to watch the Chiefs play, considering they played on Black Friday.
I know, and Taylor Swift was there.
Exactly.
But I think our Charlie Gonzalez has a little bit more on what happened in the sports world.
Thank you, Alexa. Indeed, I do. The Lakers have been on a bit of a skid during the in-season tournament, losing 2 games in the group stage. The Purple and Gold got back on track Sunday night at the Utah Jazz. LeBron James earned style points on this no-look pass to Rui Hachimura in the first minute of the game. During this play after Rui forced a turnover, him and LeBron did the "no, you take it, I insist" trope, with LeBron scoring on a dunk. A late rally by Keontae George brought the Jazz within 1 in the final minute, but they couldn't get the final shot off before the clock hit 0. Lakers win a nail-biter 105-104. Let's not forget the Clippers. They're now sitting in 7th place in the Western Conference, just behind their crosstown rival. James Harden came 1 rebound shy of a triple-double, scoring 38 points with 11 assists. Nikola Jokic's triple-double couldn't propel the Nuggets past the Clippers, no pun intended. After the teams finished the first half tied at 59 apiece, Denver held a 10-point third-quarter lead. LA rallied to take a 92-90 lead at the start of the fourth quarter. After that, the Clippers did not trail again for even a single second. The Trailblazers face the Clippers and Lakers in Los Angeles this week, albeit in separate road trips. It was senior day at the Rose Bowl during UCLA's 20-13 win against Fresno State over the weekend. After being eliminated from bowl season last week, the Bruins were eager to win the season finale for their senior class. It was a one-score game until late in the fourth quarter when senior Ethan Garbers hit J. Michael Sturdivant for a touchdown, his final pass attempt as a Bruin. UCLA finished their inaugural Big Ten season at 5-7. In 2025, the Bruins open at home against the Utah Utes on August 30th. USC also had a home game with nothing to play for except pride. Coming into the game, they had already clinched bowl season, but were also eliminated from college football playoffs. Notre Dame clinched a CFP berth with a 49-35 win in this year's Jeweled Shillelagh. The game was an offensive slugfest with each side trading blows. Notre Dame's skill position players had their way without the smallest bit of resistance. QB Riley Leonard had 3 touchdowns, 2 passing and 1 rushing. Running backs Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love each rushed for a touchdown of their own. But it was in the fourth quarter when the Fighting Irish pulled away. USC backup quarterback Jaden Maeva threw back-to-back 99 and 100-yard pick sixes to seal the game. At 6-6, USC will find out this weekend which bowl game they'll participate in. Trojans quarterback announced he will enter the transfer portal, so bye-bye Miller Moss. USC will open the 2025 season at the LA Memorial Coliseum versus the Missouri State Bears. Both of LA's pro football teams were on the road Sunday. The Chargers won their first ever game played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, 17-13. Kicker Cameron Dicker was the team's lone scorer in the first half, kicking 3 field goals to give the Bolts a 9-7 lead. The dagger on the day was a game-sealing interception on 4th and 12. The Chargers now look ahead to their Sunday Night Football matchup on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs. Just like the Bolts, the Rams were coming off a Week 12 primetime loss at home. The Saints shut out the Rams in the first half, and head coach Sean McVay was visibly frustrated on the sideline after 2 drives stalled out in Saints territory. In the third quarter, LA flipped a switch on a Kyron Williams rushing touchdown. On the first play of the fourth quarter, Matthew Stafford threw a play-action touchdown pass to Demarcus Robinson. There was doubt on whether or not he would play after being arrested on suspicion of DUI Monday morning last week. New Orleans lost playmaker Taysom Hill for the season after his head collided with his own lineman, but the Saints managed to tie the game on a Marquez Valdez-Scantling touchdown and successful 2-point conversion. Puka Nacua scored the go-ahead touchdown with just under 9 minutes remaining. The Rams' defense did the rest. Jared Verse's strip sack on Derek Carr was ruled an incomplete pass after further review. Rams escaped with a 21-14 win. Their next foe is Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills on Sunday at SoFi Stadium. And that's all for sports. I know we do have a little bit of a funny story that has to do with a football position. Why don't you explain that?
Yeah, Charlie, thank you. It's good to see that all of our LA teams, the Lakers, Clippers, Rams, and Chargers, are all in contention for the playoffs at this time of year. Oxford has chosen their word of the year to be brain rot. It was decided by a vote of over 37,000 people. Brain rot is defined as the deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state as a result of the overconsumption of online content. It's a term that most people might be familiar with as the use of it rose 230%. Alexa, have you used the word brain rot?
I have not. It's a very interesting word, though, especially for the word of the year.
It's definitely new to me as well, and I can't say, maybe I have. Maybe I have a little bit of brain rot.
Definitely. Well, that's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Alexa Kosten.
And I'm Spencer Ferreira. For stories any time of day, see our YouTube channel at Valley View News and our Instagram page at Valley View News CSUN.